Well, a big part of working with a good financial planner, a good wealth manager is having a team of professionals on your side to help you achieve all the different goals you have for your finances and for your life. So today, we're going to dive into the Axio Wealth Management discovery process and talk about how Rob and his team really truly identify which professionals are best for you if you're working with the right people, and how to make sure that's all pushing towards that common goal. Welcome in. This is Legacy Beyond Wealth. I'm Ben George, along with Rob Sheldon at Axio Wealth Management. Rob, we're kind of talking over the course of a couple of videos here about your discovery process. And I think this part's real important as we talk about kind of creating your dream team of professionals. Before we even kind of get into how you guys help do that, talk about why it is so important to have those specialties, to have those professionals in all these different areas that you're working towards to help kind of put that full plan together.
Yeah, one thing that I loved growing up in the '80s is getting to see the dream team come together for the first time. That was the Olympic team that we kind of
Yeah.
refer back to with Michael Jordan. And I hope it's okay to admit out here into the public, but I was a big Reggie Miller fan growing up. And so, he was on the dream team. And I remember the box of Wheaties, they'd have a poster inside there. And I had it on my bedroom, wall. It was kind of the first time we had kind of US being represented by very high caliber professionals. And since that time, really dominating the basketball industry on the world scale. And I think that's really what people are looking for from their professionals. I don't know anyone that says, "Hey, I don't want a dream team of professionals working to help me create that life of financial freedom to live my best life." And so, we all probably been on a team project, whether it's at school or at work, and you have a weak team member, and it makes things very difficult, right, to get things done.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And we're going to kind of go into how to find those professionals, how to put that dream team together. I love that analogy. It paints the perfect picture when you think about all the greats that were on there. You'd love to have those teammates alongside of you if you were building your financial plan. So let's go into your discovery process at Axio. And again, if you want to learn more, axiowm.com. How do you have this conversation? How does this conversation begin in terms of identifying who someone's working with and whether or not those professionals are truly meeting their needs?
Yeah, again, it goes back to, I think, that very first opportunity of meeting with someone that's looking at our firm to become a client. And we call that a discovery meeting, where we get a chance to sit down with them and do a little bit more of a deep dive. And as we do that deep dive, one of the areas we want to ask about is their professionals. And there's kind of maybe two reasons for that. One, we want to try to be able to have the client assess the value that they're getting out of that relationship. And we want to know if it's one that's extremely valuable to them, and a potential dream team member, if you will, that they're just operating at a high level and providing excellent service. And those that aren't, we want to be aware of that as well. When we get to the point where there's maybe one that isn't operating at a high level, we want to be able to pose the question if they're open to a second opinion. If you could think about it kind of like a team manager, we're assembling this together, and we're looking at the ability of putting together a team that can really drive the client where it needs to go. And we have to assess all the players on the team. The second reason we jump into it and ask those questions is maybe a little bit selfish as well. When we're looking at it and saying, "Hey, do you want a second opinion?" My goal is at least monthly going out and meeting a new professional in a different industry every month. And that way we can keep a good Rolodex, if you will, or a good pool of team players that we can pull from when there's a need from a client. And so there's been a few times when a client just speaks so amazing about their professional that I feel like I got to get a chance to be able to meet these individuals, because they could help other clients out as well.
When you sit down with people to talk to them, I know we're going to throw a chart up to look at. It shows that most people are maybe uncomfortable or unhappy with the professionals they work with for the most part, right?
Yeah, this was a study done by various business owners out there, and it was just posed to them, of all the professionals you're working with, are you satisfied with all of them? And the answer came back that 77% of the time they're unhappy with at least one of their professional that they're using. And I would say that's been very true over the years as we've posed those same questions. And that's really realistic, that there's usually at least one or two professionals, whether that be an attorney or a property and casualty agent, or a tax professional, or maybe a real estate agent, or a business banker, or something of that nature, that they just don't feel like they're getting the full attention of or full value out of. And so always great when we get a chance to to assess that. And it's kind of an eye-opening moment for the client to assess it, because sometimes we get stuck in our day-to-day, right?
Yeah.
We don't take the time to maybe sit down and evaluate that relationship, or we have and we put it on the back burner. But it's a great time to pause and just evaluate.
Are you ready to unlock the freedom to live your best life? Schedule your no-cost 60-minute discovery meeting with our team today. During this session, we'll take the time to understand your family story and financial dreams. Together, we'll craft a personalized roadmap designed to help you achieve your goals. Let's explore how we can unlock the freedom for you and your family to thrive. Just click the link in the description of today's show to get started.
Well, the reason why this is important while we're talking about it is because you truly need to have all these professionals working with you, because it does make a big impact, right? Can you kind of just dive in that a little bit more for those that just say, well, I'm sure that, they're interchangeable, right? But truly having the right people, how much of an impact can that make on your success?
Yeah, I mean, it can be huge. I mean, if you ask anyone, maybe some of their frustrations that they've had listening to clients, they'll say, "Gosh, I went and talked to my tax professional. He said I got to have things done this way. I go sit down with somebody else, and it's structured a different way." We recently met with a prospect, someone looking to jump on it with our firm, and they became a client. And they've been working with this tax professional for a while, and we just kind of asked the client, "Why are your businesses set up and structured this way?" And he says, "I have no idea."
Hmm.
And we reached out, and it was very difficult to get the tax professional to get a hold of. In fact, we got the email back that he was out of town and on vacation for 2 weeks. And this was after 3 weeks of me trying to email and call and get a hold of him. And that just kind of maybe was the backbreaker for that relationship with the client, and saying, "Gosh, I don't know if they really truly value me and where we're at." And they had some significant tax issues to be able to address. So, I think a lot of people sometimes feel that frustration. And it's hard because a lot of the complaints is just simply people not responding in a timely manner. Something as simple as being able to help address concerns that the clients have.
And I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about in our last video, right? Too, about expectations. And you talked about the importance of setting expectations and making sure that that's clear in the first meetings that you have. I'm guessing some of that goes to that, right? To kind of know, hey, if I need you, or if my advisor needs to get in touch with you, what are the expectations in terms of how quickly that should be happen? Like, how much should we be communicating? It kind of goes back to that core conversation we had, right?
Absolutely. And I talk about going to lunch with every professional, and I kind of tell them, "Hey, if you want to be on the bench to be able to be called up when we have an opportunity for you to jump on someone's dream team, we're saying, hey, there's a few things that you got to be able to understand. And one of those is preferential treatment or preferential arrangement. And what we mean by that is, for instance, the CPA that wasn't responding to this client that we referred to earlier, this was between Christmas and New Year that we finally had the frustration. And the tax professional that I knew happened to be on vacation as well. But I was able to give him a call, and he picked his cell phone up right away and said, "Hey, let's get together on New Year's Eve. We can get some good planning done and get this taken care of for the client." And so just knowing that they want to work with us and our clients, they're going to have that preferential arrangement where they know that, hey, if we reach out, we want to have that communication coming back. Now, that being said, we want everyone to enjoy their vacations and things of that nature. So we use those when we need to, but we know we have that card in the back of our pocket to make sure that they become a priority.
I want to show one more graphic here. And if you're just listening and not on YouTube, come on over and check out the channel. Please subscribe to while you're here. But I want to show this last graphic because I think it's interesting, because I'm sure a lot of advisors will tell you, hey, yeah, of course, I can point you in the direction of the right people to work with. If you're looking for a CPA, I know a guy. But how many are truly connected with those professionals and have a relationship, right? Have this comprehensive team they're working with?
Yeah, it's interesting. This study done with over 800 different financial advisors across the country, and when they asked them, "Hey, do you have a specialist that you can refer people?" Good 97%, almost 98% said that they have someone they could refer to. But when you go that next layer deep, and the question changes, do you have a well-structured, comprehensive team of specialists? That drops significantly down to just 19% of advisors have that. And I think if you went to clients and asked them then the next question of, which advisor would you want to work with? I think the majority of people want to have a well-structured, comprehensive team, especially when you look back at the heat map and what those expectations of the client are. And I think back, when I first got in this business, they'd always say, "Oh, well, what you want to do is just hand out 3 different cards. You never want to take on the liability or responsibility of introducing a relationship. Give them 3 cards to 3 different tax professionals, and let the client go figure it out on their own." I don't subscribe to that. We care a lot more about our clients and looking at that. And so we want to try to help make it as easy as possible for clients. I feel like that's what they're paying us for, is to help simplify their lives and make it easy, and understand there's enough complexity in our industry without having to add more to it. And so that ability to have bench players, it's more than just handing a card, but someone willing to go in and play at a high caliber level for a client is extremely important for us.
Yeah, that is so important. Well, if hopefully this will help kind of paint that picture of the importance of having a dream team. If you're interested in putting your dream team together, ready to take that next step, it all starts with the discovery call with Rob and his team at Axio Wealth Management. All the links are in the description as well, but go to axiowm.com. Everything you want to learn about the team and the process is there. But if you want to schedule that call and begin that process, it's a great first step, right? It's all about putting the dream team together. But our next video is going to focus on getting them to work together, another piece of the puzzle as well. So make sure you subscribe, and we'll have that conversation next. Rob, thanks for your time today.
Thanks so much, Ben.